Championship of Australia, a small but very strong field, including that great competitor Barry Rogers from Maroubra. We have Fred Annesley from Trigg Island, Western Australia, who won the Ironman competition in a raging surf a couple of years ago at Point Leo in Victoria. And down from Queensland, the top man there is Norm Rabjohns from Currumbin, an outstanding performer, and also Ken Fiddler from Scarborough, Western Australia, Lacey from Lawn, Victoria. It's a very good field indeed, and to tell you more about it, here's John Donoghue.
Well, the surprise of the whole meet so far was the elimination of John Holt, the World Ironman champion yesterday. John could only get fourth in the Australian New South Wales race, and he unfortunately didn't qualify for the final being held now. Norm Rabjohns of Currumbin, Queensland, is the Australian title holder. And in the side, we also have former Australian title holders Fred Annesley of Trigg Island and Barry Rogers of Maroubra. A very strong lineup from other competitors from Western Australia, with Vidler from Scarborough just coming into the senior ranks this year. Paul Lacey, the brother of Peter Lacey from Lawn, Victoria, and also Wood of Pacific in Queensland. It's a very strong team, and they're away for the start of the Ironman Championship of Australia.
Now, in this competition, they first of all have a board race. That's a Malibu board race. This will be followed by a swim, then a ski race, and finally a beach sprint. These things are done one after the other. No competitor is allowed outside assistance, and to finish the course, you are really an Ironman. It'll take about 15 minutes or so, but this is regarded by all lifesavers as probably the individual premiership event. It's the all-rounder, the man who can swim, ride craft and run, and all of these things come into it.
Yes, and a very good break off the beach by Wood of Pacific in Queensland, but a very nice run across the channel onto the bank, running with his board, is in front of Barry Rogers of Maroubra. So it's Earl Wood of Pacific Queensland at the moment in the first leg of the Ironman, in front of Barry Rogers of Maroubra. Very close lineup of the other competitors, not far behind them, with Cottesloe, Trigg Island. Annesley's well placed, and so also is Usner. A little bit of problem on the first buoy, but it's Dennis Usner of Maroubra slipped through very nicely on the inside. Barry Rogers, the old man of the sea, has come through very nicely, and they're showing a clean pair of heels now to Norm Rabjohns of Currumbin, who's come up in the third place, then to Pacific of Queensland, and Annesley of Trigg Island is right there also. So at the moment we have a great pair from Maroubra, Dennis Usner, the captain of the Australian team that was successful in the Tour to New Zealand, Barry Rogers, the 3 times Ironman champion of Australia, then Fred Annesley of Trigg Island, Western Australia, Norm Rabjohns of Currumbin, Queensland, all there well in the placings in the break at the moment.
A total of 11 competitors, and not more than 15 yards would cover the whole field. It's a run across the bank now. There's a short channel before the water's edge. That's the sand. They run up and then they change over and come back to the swim section. The swim section is section number 2 of this Ironman Championship. And John, they can vary these sections. They don't necessarily have to compete in this order.
No, they have a draw at the beginning of each race, and the competitors are there at the draw, and they pull them out of a hat, and that's the way they do to make the change. I've seen Ironman events run where you have the swim first, then the board and the ski, or conversely the ski, the board and the swim. Today it is the board, the swim and the ski. So you can see the competitors now heading into the water for the swimming section of the race. It'll be very interesting to see him wading across this gutter, Barry Rogers being tall and a very good wader. You watch him when he hits the shallow bank, the way he uses his legs to run. And there we see Rogers going across now. Lacey is a very good wader also, and so is Dennis Usner. But Rogers is look at Rogers use those legs. I've seen Rogers run from 6th to 1st place in Australian titles, and he's a long way in front of Rabjohns of Currumbin, then Usner of Maroubra. Jeff Dews of Wanda has moved up into 4th place at the moment, and further back now to Annesley of Western Australia, Trigg Island in Western Australia. So it's a big lead indeed for Barry Rogers at the moment, the old man of the sea, having a 5-yard lead over the rest of the competitors. Many years he's junior, and Barry is swimming well under 5 minutes for a quarter mile. It's not so long the swim, so they will peg him back a little bit, is my guess. But as soon as they hit the broken wave area again, and also that bank, he'll show him a clean pair of heels and be first man home onto the third and final leg of the ski. Norm Rabjohns of Queensland, the present Australian title holder, is a renowned ski rider. He's also a very good surfer, and he'll be hard to beat in this event. It will be out of Rogers and Rabjohns.
And look at the tremendous interest in this race. Out of the boys, there are at least 1, 2, 3, 4 craft out there, all crowding around that turning buoy. But you can see them in the background now, just a couple of them. Barry Rogers going round first, and he'll come back then onto the surf ski for the final water section of this Ironman event. And when they finish the surf ski, he has to run about 100 or 120 yards in a beach sprint.
Yes, and coming up into second places now is Rab Johns of Currumbin. He's moving through very nice of Rab Johns. He's come through from the rest of the field, and he is starting to pick Rogers up at the moment. He's moved on to the feet of Rogers, as you see. Rogers is positioning himself well, in my book, on the way back to the beach. There being a peak for that bank. He stood up too early, Barry Rogers, far too early. He's going to have to swim again, and that was a bad mistake of Barry Rogers in standing up. He lost 5 yards in that. For his surfing ability to do that, I can't understand Barry doing it. But he'll pick up the wade again at this moment. Too keen as a wave is going to come through for Rab Johns. We see Cottesloe coming through. Jeff Hughes of Wonder has come into calculations also. But there we see the big legs of Barry Rogers working again. We see Rab Johns on his left running quite nicely, and a lot of competitors out there catching a wave at the moment.
Very good surfing tactics by Rogers then. The thing to do in, I'd say, knee-deep water, John, is get up and run. The other two stayed in the water and tried to ride the wave. Now, Rogers gained about 2 or 3 yards by getting up and running.
Yes, at the moment we have Barry Rogers just in front of Jeff Hughes of Wonder. Hughes coming into calculations very well, not too strong in the ski, so it's going to be at the moment that we see the change over there. Looks like Hughes of Wonder has come up into calculations of first, and he's going for the ski. Now Hughes of Wonder is just starting in the Ironman events this year. It's a tremendous effort from him. He picked up that wave. A little behind him is Barry Rogers, the 3-time Australian champion. A little bit behind Rogers is Norm Rab Johns of Currumbin, the present Australian champion. And there we see the white ski going out now at the moment between Hughes of Wonder and also Rogers of Maroubra. Rab Johns having a little bit of problem on the start and is picking him up. Rab Johns is the strongest ski paddler of this trio. So it's going to be interesting. We see the problems Barry Rogers had then in the break, but it's Rogers, Hughes, Rab Johns. And what a final this is, the first final of the Australian Championship. And at the moment it says Jeff Hughes of Wonder first. Barry Rogers is now in third place. Rab Johns is moving into second place, and look at Rab Johns go on that green and gold ski. Rab Johns at the moment is going very, very well indeed. He has gone past them at the rate of knots. He's paddling like a machine, and he's clean out and showing a clean pair of paddles there in this final leg of the Ironman. So there we can see how the lead changes between three great competitors. Barry Rogers on the white ski, Jeff Hughes of Wonder in the middle of the picture, and there it looks like the winner at the moment will be Norm Rab Johns, the present Australian champion, successfully defending his title. So there's Rogers coming through on the inside into second place. Jeff Hughes of Wonder a little bit further back to Ainslie from Western Australia. But what a tremendous race this Ironman has turned out to be. Norm Rab Johns showing a clean pair of heels on the ski, a very strong. He's a renowned ski paddler, a renowned belt swimmer, a renowned surfer, a great surfer. They call him the Barry Rogers of Queensland, and he's showing he's the old man of the sea. Barry, a clean pair of paddles at the moment. He's paddling at the rate of knots and coming home beautifully with the chop is Rab Johns. He's opened up a lead of possibly 25 to 30 yards in this short race. And he's going very well indeed. He's into the stages now where he can pick up a wave which is coming up behind him. You can see it just looming up now. He's a long way in front and paddling very nicely. In second place, there's still Rogers at the moment, but moving up on Rogers is the Pacific competitor Woods, who's moved up into second place and coming through very nicely at the moment. So it's going to be a tremendous race. Look at this bloke paddle. That is Norm Rab Johns of Currumbin, Queensland. At the moment he's coming into the area where he's clear. He's going to hit the beach in about 3 seconds. He's got a beach sprint to go, and he's as fresh as a daisy. He's already been in a belt heat today, and here he comes. Norm Rab Johns, Currumbin, Queensland, winner of the Australian Ironman title here at Blacksmith Beach today. A long way in the front, but look at this minor placings. Barry Rogers using those legs again, 32 years of age and coming along the beach like a beach sprinter. Jeff Hughes of Wonder and Woods of Pacific Queensland. So we'll wait to the minor placings, but it looks like it perhaps was Rogers of Maroubra. First time I've seen him collapse at the end of a race, but a tremendous race here at Blacksmiths.
And here's the official presentation to the Ironman, and that's the winner from Currumbin Beach, Norm Rab Johns, and the presentation by that famous Australian, Sir Adrian Kaluans, who's the National President of the Life Saving Association. So Adrian making this presentation to a premier event. And a special bonus for the winner, Norm Rab Johns. And we see that Jeff Hughes won second place. Jeff Hughes of the Wonder Club came into second place, which means that Barry Rogers has been relegated to third. So Norm Rab Johns first, Jeff Hughes second, and there he is, Barry Rogers coming into third place. And look at Barry, what a great lifesaver this fellow has been over a period of, almost 15 years. The first major